Right, Sydney Racing Preview with Mark Rhoden. How you going, Mark?
Good, thank you, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Group 1's are back.
Yep. Not a bad meeting at all tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, might just have a look at the quaddy legs.
Sure.
There's a couple of good races in there. And
All right.
yeah, race 6 is the Group 1 surround stakes for
Yep.
the girls. Funstar at $3.20 and Flit at $3.60 lead the market at
Yep.
the moment. Look at the race and
Yes.
how does it look to
Yeah, it's a great race. A really good early season fillies race up to 1400. We had the light fingers, I think it was last time, over 1200 where a few of these met.
Yep.
But this time we get the addition of Funstar, who's first up, and Probabeel from New Zealand. So it's a really good race.
Yep.
Flit dominated, first up with the blinkers on. Blinkers first time, last time, and was way too good for them. So of that division, she's the clear top pick, as the market suggests. Nothing out of that race is really close to her in the market except for Liar. Then you've got to line up Funstar and Probeel. So I've actually ended up with them pretty much all together.
Yep.
And my thinking's this, that Funstar's, on what I've seen so far, the best of them, her rating, she's got the best individual race rating out of any of them so far, but she's drawn 13, so the map is awkward.
So 1400, isn't it?
It's 1400, yeah. Which that's not a problem in itself, but
Yep.
with something like Claire Mitchell in the race, I don't think they're going to try and lead. So it could be an issue. And she did lead in the flight stakes when let him in a walk and beat Probeel really easily, but it's going to be a totally different setup here. I think there's a few 6 furlong horses plus Claire Mitchell who'll probably run them along a bit, meaning Funstar can't dominate it. And sort of horse she is, I think she led because of circumstances in the flight rather than that being the way they want to ride her going forward. So she's in trouble on the map, so could be vulnerable and certainly enough to stop me taking a short price. Flit will get a good run again, great chance, and I think there might be enough speed on to suit Probeel. She absolutely brained them last start in New Zealand over 1600s, had a freshen up and a nice trial since.
Yep.
When she met Funstar over 1400 with a little bit more speed on than there was in the flight, they almost dead heated, and she was better through the line than anything in that race. So I think I'm just thinking at the price, it won't be a huge bet because it is such a competitive race, but Probeel at around $5 or thereabouts is probably better value than Flit and Funstar, who are $3 something. So that's the way I'm leaning there. But they're 3 very good fillies. Map critical. If Funstar map better, I'd have her clear on top, I think. But the way it falls out with the probable map and the probable speed in the race, I think Probeel's a little bit of value.
I was asking Cam yesterday, interested in your thoughts too,
Yeah.
how you rate Opie Boston, because obviously the dominant jockey over there comes over here for when the big horses travel. How do you rate him against our riders?
I think he's fine for the horses he rides. He knows them really well.
Yep.
I'm not sure how I'd have to see him riding week by week. Always, for decades their best have been up to our best. Jimmy Cassidy and Shane Dye and James McDonald, obviously in recent years. Brent Thompson, if you want to go back that far. But so their best are good enough. I mean, he's tried before and then gone back. So I'm not sure that he's up to that level. But the horses he's here to ride, he has had good success with. So I'm not marking him down. I'm not marking them down because he's riding them tomorrow.
Sure. And race 7's the Chipping Norton over the mile.
Yep.
Tiaka Shark, all the rage.
Yes.
$2.60, a bit better around at the moment. It's actually just drifted ever so slightly from opening, but obviously a lot of percentage still in these markets. But
it looks to me like Tiaka Shark and Dreamforce stand out. Tiaka Shark's the better horse, and Dreamforce just maps much better than the other one tomorrow. I've got them pretty close to their market prices. Little bit of value in Dreamforce. It's pretty marginal though, and I mean I've got Tiaka around $3, so it's not far under my price either. So it's not a race you'd want to back both. The market's got them pretty right, which you'd expect with the form being pretty well exposed. But I can't really see a betting angle at this stage. Just the slightest edge in Dreamforce's price, and if you back Dreamforce, you're going to get every possible chance.
Yep.
Blinkers back on, Beishing coming out to ride. Will lead. We'll just get every possible. It's just a question of where Tiaka Shark gets to in the run. It looks like back. I mean, it really does look like a long way back, or wide. He's got that incredible turn of foot, so he could well be good enough to overcome it. But at under 2-1, you are taking your life in your hands a bit there. So that's as I said, I've got him on top because he's the best horse, but it won't be an easy watch. Away from those two, you've got in the market. You've got Avilius, who I'm really starting to think is better on soft.
Yep.
Fierce Impact, who was good first up. The Ore Stakes that Alabama Express won is not a vintage Group 1 by any means. These horses, well, Tiako Shark in particular is a level above that lot. Fierce Impact was only ever a good handicapper in Sydney, certainly not a Group 1 weight for age horse. His 3 best runs since he's got to Australia have all been in Melbourne, so perhaps that's the key to him, but we'll see. He's got some hope, but at 750 is way unders in my view. The interesting runner, although he has had a throw top, I read, is Homesman, who has a very good first up record and will just be on the fence, either trailing Dreamforce or 1 or 2 behind that, getting a very soft run. And as I say, he's got a great first up record. He's short enough. He was around. Yeah, he was better than that yesterday. He's into about 13. So even that little edge has been planed off by the look of it. They've got the market pretty right. Happy Clapper's the other one. I gave him a chance first up. He's always a chance in those, but you think he's coming to the end of it. He'll be 10 in August, so he'd need things to go right, I think. But it's just a real question in the map here. Do you back the one at a bit of odds, Dreamforce, that is going to get every chance, or do you back the better horse in Tiako Shark, who's going to need a couple of things to go his way?
Might see what the market does a bit tomorrow.
Maybe,
or will the market tell a story, perhaps?
Don't know, unless there's a distinct pattern emerging. Dry track true should be fairish with just a standard sort of advantage to one place and inside, just the normal one you'd expect rather than a track bias related one. It's just a question of whether Tiako Shark can get close enough with any the right sort of trip to get past him, but we'll see.
Sounds like a tricky race.
It's you'd say with just 2 main chances it shouldn't be, but I mean Dreamforce, what you see is what you get, and you're getting a nice price. But if Tiako Shark gets a decent run straight past, and you're just got to say, well, there you go. So it's the market's got it pretty right, I think.
No worries. Race stakes, the Randwick over the 2,000 metres.
Yep.
Costello, 40.
Been very well backed.
Yeah, and Chains of Honour 550, Mount Tabor 650.
Yeah, I think this is an very interesting race, actually. Costello's got some good figures, drawn to get a good run. If you want to back David Payne and Glenn Boss's favourite, that's up to you. I'm not interested at 440s. He looks well placed, but I shouldn't be too harsh on Bossy. He'll start to come into his own this time of year, but David Payne's got a woeful Metropolitan, everywhere strike rate. He trained a winner at Beaumont yesterday. Knocking me off, of course, but long term, he's not a betting proposition at the top end of the market for mine. The best horse in this race, clearly, for my money, is Attorney, who was beaten his favourite when totally unsuited, first up at 1,600. I'd love to see a jockey change on him, but there isn't one, and he probably gets back again. But out to 2,000, dry track, even though getting back is not ideal, a horse of his ability should get his chance to make some ground at the price he is. I think has to be a bet and just hope for the best with the map. I mean,
so about $7.
Yeah, you're not going to get all favours. It's not going to be the easiest of watches, but I think a horse of his, I think he's a pretty classy horse at that price. You've got to be on. Chains of Honour's a real wild card. Won very well at Hawkesbury first up at 1,800, I think it was. Then they took him up to Queensland for the rescheduled Grand Prix Stakes, one of the worst $250,000 races you'd ever see. But he was caught wide, went to the front, and it was very impressive. He's obviously a young stayer of some scope. He's drawn 11 here, and he's got no weight with a claim. He's got 50.5 kilos. So the obvious thing to me would be, okay, we just send him forward, stick him right in the race, and he'll be a great chance. But I wonder whether they're thinking bigger fish to fry down the track, derbies and so forth, whether they want to teach him to settle, which would be his undoing, I think, here. If you try and restrain him at the start, he's already shown a tendency to over-race. He could be back wide and over-racing, which would be the end of him, I would think. If, on the other hand, they just take the bull by the horns and go forward, huge chance. Yeah. But again, they might be thinking they're maybe not so concerned about tomorrow's race. They're thinking of getting group races into him down the track, and they might want to educate him. So there's that slight query on him. If I had an in with the camp and I knew exactly how they were going to ride him, I'd be more confident of how to assess him. But I'd probably let him go a second favourite at this stage, but wouldn't be surprised if he won. The one I will be saving on is Think It Over, who somehow ran odds on at Canterbury last start in a race on the map where it was just totally unsuited. It just had no chance in that race. You can just forget it went round. Very good first up in a midweek race over 1400 at Warwick Farm, hit the line very well. He is jumping 1550 to 2000, which is a little bit more than I'd like, but he's by So You Think. He's certainly bred to get the trip. He maps to get a good run. Quite like the jockey change, and at double figure odds, so I think he's a better for sure.
Good stuff.
There's other chances in the race, Window and Mount Tabora in particular. They're sort of getting to the point where Mount Tabora's up 400 metres for a start after controlling at Flemington in a smallish field last start over a mile. The Window's up to the trip, which won't bother it, but they're sort of finding their marks now, those horses, and I think maybe one of these horses with a bit of scope might be too good for them.
No worries, and quick look at the last, which is benchmark 88 over the 1200. Royal Celebration at $3.90.
Yeah.
Trumbull at $5 and Rahiran at $6.
Yeah.
Your thoughts there?
I'm with Trumbull. James McDonald got on him at Kembla last up before a break. Admittedly, the pattern suited in that day, but he was very good, and he's been freshened up since then, since November. Trialled really well. McDonald on again. Hopefully they worked out that's the way to ride him. If not lead, put him right in the race, so he should be right up in the speed. And very nicely placed in this with 54.5, I think. Royal Celebration is third up now. Easily has the best figures in the race from his 3-year-old days. A. Atkins back on is a plus. Maps really well is a plus. I think he might be better at 1400. He's gone 12, 13 back to 1200. I'm not madly in love with that, but he's a chance. I think Trumbull open favourite and Royal Celebration second favourite, and they backed Royal Celebration. So people thinking third up that Royal Celebration's ready to go with the jockey change in the map, and they may well be right, but I lean to Trumbull. Rohiran hasn't done much wrong. He's finding his mark with 59 as well, I think, but he's a chance. The knockout, so to speak, in the race is Yamazaki, who has a tremendous turn of foot on her day, but will be, you would think, back nearly last from barrier 12, having to round them all up. But she's certainly got a turn of foot, and it wouldn't surprise me to see her run past him. But just given the circumstances, given McDonald's on it, and given the map, I think Trumbull's probably the best bet at those prices.
Good stuff. All right. Well, yeah, as you said, a good card of racing tomorrow, so it should be good. And a good meeting at Newcastle.
Good meeting. Yeah, we've got the provincial championship qualifier. I'll be looking at that and a few other selected races. Finished in front on the Beaumont track yesterday, so hopefully we can find another one or two for us there tomorrow, as well as Randwick. And in between, we've got the last Canterbury night meeting. For those playing at home, expect on pace and expect on rail to be advantaged, but with the dry track it might not be absolutely 100% critical like it has the last two meetings. You might be able to sit outside the leader or 1-1 and win, but I wouldn't really want to be circling from last or anything. But it might not be as bad as it has been the last fortnight. But yes, so we've got plenty on over the next 24 hours or so.
Good stuff. All right, we'll catch you next week.
Yep, see you then.